Alright, the next questions come from Megadome, and he asks 5 questions here. First one, will you consider Iron Man 3 a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe or ignore it completely? There's kind of 2 parts to this question. First of all, I guess I am, because I just kind of have to. It's one of those things that you can't ignore it. It happened, you just have to deal with it. I'll consider it, but in my mind, the twist with the Mandarin never happened, so when I get the new Mandarin toys that are coming out, the 6-inch and Hot Toys, I'm just gonna pretend that he was the villain in the movie. And then the part 2 to that first question, scale to 1 to 10, how disappointing was the film? 10 being the highest. I have to say 10, just in disappointment-wise, because I was so excited. I thought it was going to be spectacular. I thought Mandarin might be, one of my favorite villains of all times. The movie itself might be one of my favorite movies of all times. And to walk out of it not being able to even come close to either of those things was incredibly disappointing, and something that I totally did not expect. Typically with movies, you can tell which ones are going to be good, which ones are going to be bad. Some might be go over your expectations, some might go under your expectations, but never in my life have I been so excited for a movie and to come out of it and be so disappointed. So disappointed is definitely going to have to be 10 for me. It just threw me off because I was not expecting it. Number 2, what is your favorite film? And then the second part to number 2, what is your most hated film? My favorite film is very hard to come up with. I went back and forth, but I think I'm going to have to say The Dark Knight. Just overall, close second is Iron Man 1, obviously. And then what is your most hated film? Probably just Batman and Robin. I mean, it's just such a horrible movie, but in second, it'll probably be Ghost Rider 2, sorry, not Riders. I really hate Ghost Riders 2. I can't believe it was made, and I think that's just about everybody was thinking that. So yeah. Number 3, what are your top 3 favorite toy reviewers? This one was kind of hard for me. First off, I just absolutely, 2 people came to my mind that are definitely my number 1 and 2. First of all, Toys 210 and FX Franz. FX Franz also has another channel, Chefatron, which he basically just reviews different things on the same on the different channels, but I don't even know why he has a second channel. But yeah, both of them I think are fantastic reviewers, really have a lot of insight, and they review the type of stuff that I collect. So definitely, I really love both of them. Definitely go check out their channels. Number 3 was really hard for me. I did not know who to pick, and I really thought about it for a long time, and I think that I came to the conclusion that although this person isn't primarily a toy reviewer, he does do a lot of dioramas, and that is the Budget Jedi. I have so much respect for the sets that he puts up, and just how he does it. It's just really crazy, and it seems simple, but it's just very hard if you actually try it. So I really just have a lot of respect for him. So yeah. Number 4, will you get the 18-inch 1/4 scale Pacific Rim Gypsy Danger from NECA? Originally, I wasn't planning on it, but they just announced that they were making this guy right here, Knifehead, in the 18-inch scale as well. So now I'm definitely considering it, because I would love to have Gypsy Danger and Knifehead, just kind of like on top of 2 Detolf cabinets kind of facing each other about to battle or something. That would just be sick. So I am considering it now. Wasn't before, but if you asked me this question before they announced that, I probably would have said no, though. So yeah. Next question, this is the last question. Do your parents approve of your toy collecting hobby? Absolutely. I've always been very grateful for that. They've always been incredibly supportive and proud of me for coming up with this whole channel and everything, and that's just been really fantastic. So I'm always very appreciative of that. So there you go. That was his questions, and thank you. Alright, next question comes from Kev121520009. He says, hey man, so do you have a job, or how do you get the money for these figs? I don't have a job. I do plan to get one really soon, which is exciting, because then even more toys. Can you believe it? I'm so excited. So yeah, but no, I do get money from YouTube. I've addressed that previously in this video because of questions, and yeah, that's basically it. I mean, just other money for just other stuff, of course, I put into it. So yeah, so pretty much answered that kind of before, but yeah, pretty simple, pretty quick. Alright, next question comes from the Geeky Hero. What's the most you spend on figs? I don't really know what you're asking me. If you're asking me, like, on average, what do I spend on figures, or what's the most I've ever spent on a figure? I don't know. What's the most you spend on figs? I'm not quite sure what you're asking. Just to kind of answer a couple of those and hope that I answer the question that you're asking is that probably the figure that I spent the most money on is Ironmonger. Of course, he definitely has the highest retail value in my collection, just as far as the retail, as far as its starting price. Hawkeye, although I didn't spend that much, I spent like 170 on Hawkeye, and he's way up there now and almost competing with Ironmonger in his price, which is fantastic. If you're asking me about about how much I spend on figures, I'd say before I collected Hot Toys, I'd say 100 to 200 a month. Now that I am collecting Hot Toys, 200 to 300 to 400 a month, I'd say. It's way shot up my how much I spend on figures, unfortunately, but definitely worth it. Of course, if it wasn't worth it, I wouldn't do it. So yeah, hopefully that answers the question you're asking. I'm not 100% sure if it does, though. If it doesn't, though, feel free to ask me feel free to send me another comment in this video to tell me what you were actually asking, and I'll respond to you in the comments. So yeah, thank you. The next question comes from Marvelous and Toys 117, and he asks, "What's your holy grail for collecting?" If you're I'm not 100% sure on your question, if it's like, what figure would I absolutely love to have? If I could find any figure in the store, what would it be? I think that's what you're asking. There are two figures that were canceled or never hit retail that I have always wanted to get. I was always very excited about getting them before they came out, or before they were canceled, sorry. And because they're canceled, I'll never get them, unfortunately. One is the Tron Castler, or I can't remember his name 100%, it's been so long, but I think it's Castler. That figure was taken off of retail, and I have always wanted that figure. I've seen it come on eBay twice. Both times it sold for over $1,000, and I've always wanted that in my collection. Another one, oh, there it is. It's the, I forgot about it for a second. It's the Frost Giant Ice Claw from Thor, from the Thor 1 movie. There was a deluxe Frost Giant that was supposed to come out, and it just didn't. And that was hugely disappointing. I was because I wanted like a Frost Giant army. I had LaFay. I had the two different, versions of the regular Frost Giant. So I wanted the big, bulky, Frost Giant, the Frost Giant with the claw ice hands. And I was so excited for him to come out, and he just never came out. I never had heard anything about why he didn't come out. He was shown at like Comic-Con a couple times, and just nobody ever got him. I've never seen him online, and I've never heard an explanation for why he's gone. Castler, I heard a couple rumors that he was canceled because he had like two left thighs. There was actually a problem with the figure design, and so that might be true. And another figure that I would like to get is any from NECA's I almost said Django, from NECA's Django, figure line, just to have one of those canceled figures. And for such a unique reason would be really awesome. They have been taken off of eBay, and I tried to buy a few when they first were announced that they were canceled. I put in a couple really high bids on some of them, and tried to get them, and I didn't. And then when eBay announced that you could not sell them on eBay anymore, then I lost all chances to get them. So those are the figures that I would love to get. They're all canceled, which is why I don't have them, because I can just not get my hands on them. But if I ever found an opportunity to get one, I would definitely jump on it, because those would be super cool to get. So there you go. Thanks for your question. Alright, next questions come from Diddy Kong versus Luigi, and he asks about 5 questions. Number 1, will you ever collect MMPR figures, which is Power Ranger figures? No, Power Rangers is one of those things that I didn't like as a kid, and I still don't like now. If like as a kid I used to watch a show or something, it might be fun to get some Power Rangers, but I just didn't like it then, and I just don't like it now. So, and and unless they come out with some cool, modern Power Rangers movie or something, I doubt I ever will, but you never know. Will you ever make a stop motion series? I don't plan to. It's kind of hard to do stop motion. And it's something that every now and then when I get some mini-mates, I like to do, because the mini-mates are really great for doing stop motions. They're nice, fun, little, and they've got interchangeable parts and stuff, so you can do some fun stuff with them. But other than that, I'm not big on stop motion. It's fun to do it with the mini-mates, and I have done it with some other figures in the past, but it's just not something that I'd ever want to start like a series of. But every now and then, pretty much on my anniversary vids, the last 2 years in a row, I've posted the Mini-Mates stop motion videos, so I guess I'll keep doing that. If there are Mini-Mates for like Captain America and stuff, I'll still do it, so yeah. Number 3, will you do video game reviews? No, I just don't play a lot of video games, like I've talked about before in this video, or in maybe the previous part or something, but I'm just not a big video game person. I do play a few, but not too many, and just really don't have any interest in reviewing them, so yeah. Number 4, can you please give Gunslinger Inc. another shout out, please? Last, in my 1000th Q&A, I think that he asked me to do that, so yeah, definitely go check out Gunslingers Inc. He does like stop motions with Sonic figures. Check him out, and hopefully by the time you're watching this, I have put up a link on the screen. And then if you can please do the hand thing one more time, and that's funny because in my last Q&A he did ask me a question about this before, and that's because at the beginning of when I first started reviewing toys, when I would do like my intro, I'd kind of like, I do this, on the side, so I go, Miss Transformers 96 here with another review. I don't know why I did that, and it was hilarious to find somebody that remembered that, so thank you for making me laugh once again in another Q&A. That was very funny, so there you go, thank you. Alright, next questions come from Michael Halua, and he asks, can you do a Hulk versus Lizard pose? Absolutely. And then just going on to the next person, what is this? Forenging 102? Sorry, I'm horrible at pronouncing you guys' names. What toy do you most regret buying? It's kind of hard to say. I guess I'm going to have to go with the 3 3/4 inch Green Lantern figures. They just weren't good, so I kind of just regret getting them. Another one would be, hold on, here you go, this one right here, this 3 3/4 inch Bane. I got it for super cheap. I only paid like $3 for it, but I just regretted buying it altogether because I didn't even want to take it out of the package, and I don't know, it's just really horrible. So some of the Mattel 3 3/4 inch stuff I get sucked into buying, and I just do not like any of it, so it just is pointless to buy, so I guess I just regret buying some of that stuff. Alright, next questions come from Ventura Smacks 26, and he asks, are you going to buy the Thor Dark World toys? Absolutely. I'm very much looking forward to them. They haven't showed a 6-inch line, but I hope that they do one. The Diamond Select figures look very nice. No like super awesome characters. It's just Thor and Natalie Portman's character, Jane, is Jane Foster, so, hey, they'll be 2 cool figures. I think that their bases look nice. The 3 3/4 inch figures look awesome. They're back to about the standard of articulation from the Avengers, or even possibly from the original Thor movie, which is great, and the detail looks fantastic, so I'm extremely excited for those toys. And then his second question is, what's your favorite Marvel Cinematic Universe movie? The Avengers doesn't count. And even if the Avengers counted, I wouldn't say that that's my favorite, although I love it. It's probably my second favorite. But my first favorite has to be Iron Man, just hands down. I like a lot of the Marvel movies, but Iron Man was just the one that I absolutely loved. Going into it, I wasn't too excited because I had no knowledge of Iron Man at all, and in 2008 I didn't know a bunch of stuff before I went into the movie. Really all I knew were the trailers, so it just, it looked good, but I wasn't super excited for it or anything, and I loved it. And of course the villain is one of my all-time favorite Marvel characters now after that movie, so I absolutely love the first Iron Man movie. It's fantastic, so yeah. Alright, next question comes from EAVXON, and he asks, could you review the Hulk and Red Hulk Marvel Select figures? I've reviewed the movie Hulk, so if you care about that one, you can watch it. The comic Hulk and Red Hulk, I have no plans to. I don't think that the figures look that great. I have to say, I think that they look a little odd proportioned. Not horrible. They look cool, but just not fantastic. So I have no plans in getting them. I have the Select Abomination, and I still just have no interest in getting any of the comic Hulks from Marvel Select. So I definitely do not plan to get to. So very sorry if you want to see a review. Alright, next questions come from Olego Master 2, and he asks, have you ever made a custom and kept it? If not, will you? Well, I have. My only custom that I've made at the moment is a repaint of a Starscream. Just the movie Starscream I repainted into Skywarp and Sunstorm, yeah. It's those two right there. The Thundercracker is obviously just a regular release Thundercracker, but I repainted this one and this one. So now, with the movie Starscream, they look really nice together, so I like those a lot. And, getting back down, getting everything back in position. Alright, next question. Let's get to it. Will you get the Generations G1 Predaking or Metroplex? I don't know who Metroplex is, and I have no intentions to get him. Predaking, the only Predaking I know is from Transformers Prime, so I just really do not plan to get them at this time, but if I actually see the figures, I might change my mind. Next, if Robert Downey Jr. wasn't Iron Man, who would you pick? That is an incredibly hard one. I thought about it for a while, and I just could not come up with anybody that I felt comfortable saying that they could do a good Iron Man, could do a good job as Iron Man. I really do not think anybody's better than this guy right here. This is Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. I hope they never replace him. I hope he never quits, but eventually he will, and Iron Man is an extremely successful franchise, so they will replace him, and at this moment, I just have not a clue who I would think could do as good of a job as Robert Downey Jr. I have no clue, and really sorry, that's kind of like a crappy answer because I didn't really answer it, but I just do not know, so I'm really sorry, but I did think about it, and I just couldn't come up with anything. Do you like Back to the Future? If yes, which is your favorite out of the three? I do like Back to the Future. Definitely number one's the best. I mean, for sure. Number two is good. I don't like number three too much. I think the whole Western thing is a little off, and having I just don't like number three. But number one is fantastic. Number two is good. Number three is decent. But yes, I do like them. They're a great trilogy, and one that everybody knows, so yeah. So thank you for your questions. Alright, I have more questions from that same person. He accidentally used his old account, so his real name is OlegoMaster 1999, so wrong account, so there you go. So more questions from him. Will you collect Constructobots? Have no plans to. I'm not even quite sure what they are, but I really don't have any plans to. PS3 or Xbox? Definitely PS3, I think. I have owned PS3, and I found that that's just better, in my opinion, but I'm not a hardcore gamer or anything, so I'm not 100% sure on that. Kick-Ass or Hit Girl? I haven't seen Kick-Ass. I haven't seen 1 or 2. I plan to see 2 very soon because it is, of course, just came out. But I do plan to see it. But as of right now, without seeing the movies, I think Hit Girl just seems a little bit more awesome. The other guy just seems to be quite generic from what I've seen, but I haven't seen much, so don't quote me on that. But yeah, so I go Hit Girl. Alright, next question comes from Spotlight99. If you could make a toy line on any Marvel character, who would it be? Kind of hard for me, but coming up with one character is extremely hard. But a toy line from Marvel that I would love to see is like an evil organization toy line. So you'll get, like the Sinister Six and the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants and the Masters of Evil, all of those like organizations getting like packs of them. That would be so sick. I've really wanted that in like a 3 3/4 inch scale. That would just be incredible. So that's what I would love to see. If I had to pick just one character, I really don't know. I'm gonna have to say, maybe like Loki. I would love to see, something like Loki and have like people that he's partnered with in other Avengers movies, and of course, Thor, and have the Avengers toys that fight him and stuff. Maybe something like that. It's hard to come. Sorry about that. I was pretty much saying, or like Deadpool. The Deadpool toy line would be kind of neat. Or maybe just a classic like X-Men toy line, because well, of course we get X-Men toys in Marvel Universe, but we haven't had like one solid good X-Men toy line, because Wolverine, the Wolverine movie that just came out, they didn't have like a really solid toy line for that. The 2009 Wolverine Origins didn't have a good toy line. First Class didn't have a good toy line. So just a good X-Men toy line would be really nice as well. Alright, another question, it's comes from somebody who already asked some questions, but he added one more. Diddy Kong vs. Luigi. I have one last question. Can you show your Green Lantern movie toys and give a brief bio on the characters? I'm sure, I'm certainly not an expert on them, and I'm not going to do this like in this video, but I'll make a separate video. I just don't know a whole lot about each individual character, but I'll do some research and do it. You gotta promise to remind me, because I might forget on that one, because it's definitely not something I typically do. So if you don't see it in a little bit, just remind me and I'll get to it. So yeah, so I'll definitely do that. Alright, that is the end of part 4 of my Q&A. Thank you so much to all of you who asked questions. I hope I answered all of your questions, and I really appreciate you guys for asking them. When I get 3,000 subscribers, I'll definitely be doing another Q&A. I think this is a pretty nice tradition, every 1,000 subscribers doing a Q&A. It's a decent amount in between them, but not too far in between them, so that people can still keep up and ask me questions, and hopefully just learn a little bit more about me. So there you go. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.